What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm Mel, your fun pharmacist, and today we are talking all things GERD. That's right, gastroesophageal reflux disease, or as many people refer to it, acid reflux. You know, I took a recent poll on my Instagram and I found out that 85% of my followers who replied, 85%, either had acid reflux themselves or someone in their immediate household or immediate family acid reflux. Y'all, that is crazy. So today I'm going to share with you 6 ways that you can long-term fix your heartburn or indigestion acid reflux. Now, I'm not a doctor, okay? So these are just things that make sense to me that would work. As always, seek professional medical advice. And I would highly advise seeing a functional medicine or integrative practitioner so that they can get to the root cause of what is going on inside your esophagus and your stomach instead of just throwing drugs at it. So we're going to start with what is acid reflux? Why does it happen? And then also, what are the risks of the current medications that are often prescribed for acid reflux? You guys, these are medications that are not meant for you to be on long-term. They are not. Like, period, end of story. They have serious health risks, and that is the whole point of me making this video as a pharmacist, is I want as many people to get off of those medications, proton pump inhibitors, as possible. All right, here we go. Let's dive in. Let's first start about what's going on in the stomach and the esophagus that causes reflux. I mean, we have to understand that before we can start to talk about, well, how are we going to solve this in a natural, safe way? All right, so think about your stomach. Your stomach is actually an environment that should be very acidic. It is made to handle the acid that your body produces. It's designed and created that way. You should have acid in your stomach because that helps to break down the food. It helps to absorb the nutrients that you need to absorb. It's really, really important that you have an acidic environment. Actually, your stomach is coated with a mucus-like lining, almost like a snot lining that protects it, okay? So again, the stomach should have very high acidity. We're talking like pHs of 2 and 3, okay? Now, where we get into trouble is the esophagus. So the esophagus is what takes the food down to the stomach, and between the esophagus and the stomach is a sphincter called the LES, or the lower esophageal sphincter. Now, the esophagus is made up of a different lining than the stomach. It's not made to handle that acid all the time. It can handle an occasional splash, right? Or an occasional reflux up there, but it cannot handle that acid over and over and over again because it depends on that sphincter at the bottom to stay closed so that the acid is not going back up. So how do we get acid reflux? Well, if you think about the tissue in the esophagus, you think about the tissue in the stomach, there's an acidic environment in the stomach, which should be there, but if that sphincter is not closing all the way, it's letting that acid kind of splash back up. So what we want to think about is there something going on with that sphincter? Is it not closing all the time? Again, a doctor could tell you that. But things we can do to help that are natural, easy solutions are decreasing the pressure in our abdomen. We call this intra-abdominal pressure. If we decrease that pressure, that means there's less likelihood that the acid is going to be pushed back up through that sphincter, and also that there's not as much pressure on the sphincter itself, okay? So we can try to reduce the pressure here, and then also we can do things where we help, right? We help the acid stay down by utilizing gravity, something very, very natural. Now, short term, as we work through these longer term solutions, you're gonna need something, right, to help. And the whole point of this video is for me to help you understand that it's important to not take proton pump inhibitors. These are things like Prilosec, Nexium, Protonix, okay? Omeprazole, esomeprazole, pantoprazole. These are not meant for long-term use, okay? We know that these medications can cause osteoporosis. They can cause Alzheimer's and dementia. They put you at higher risk for malabsorption, for hypomagnesia, low magnesium, which is a really incredibly important nutrient. They put you at higher risk for infection because, again, our stomach is not operating properly. We're not digesting things as we should. We're also, if we don't have that acidic environment, we're less likely to keep out the bad bacteria, right? It makes total sense. And if we can't get the right nutrients, our immune system can't work as well. Do you see how this all works together? So my goal as a pharmacist is to educate you on the risks of these proton pump inhibitors long-term. Again, occasionally, okay. I'm talking about long-term. I'm making this video because my husband has been on proton pump inhibitors for years daily, and I want to get him off. And so I figured many of you are in the same boat, or your loved ones. And so that's why the video is being made. So let's dive in to some natural alternatives that are simple that you can use in the short term as you're trying to come off of the proton pump inhibitors. A couple of quick things that work. Apple cider vinegar. Some people can take a shot of it. I can't handle it that way. So like a couple tablespoons, dissolve it in water, and then you can drink it. You could even add a little lemon to your water. I'm actually going to give you a recipe for a tonic in another video, so stay tuned there and you're going to see that video pop up. You can go watch that one and you can drink your tonic every day, which is also really good for detox and tons of other gut benefits. Okay, so that's apple cider vinegar with the mother, okay, with the mother. This is the apple cider vinegar that I recommend. Do you see with the mother? That's going to be kind of cloudy stuff. Do you guys see it down at the bottom? Oh, there we go. This cloudy stuff down here. Tons of good bacteria in this. So you want to get that. A lot of people are worried about this on their teeth enamel. Totally understand that. Drink it with a straw, okay, and you can get it back, or just brush your teeth after. It's vinegar, right? It can be difficult on the enamel. So just make sure you're either brushing your teeth or drinking it with a straw or rinsing your mouth afterwards. All right, next up is going to be a lot of times chewing gum, especially, if you can get some sort of mint gum, that will help. There's also licorice chews. You can get those on Amazon. I'll try to link some below. Those oftentimes will help with that heartburn. Lastly, ginger root. Again, I'm in the kitchen. I have ginger root in my fridge. Just can get a little piece of that, chew on that. That is so good at soothing that heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach. You can also get ginger chews. I'll try to link my favorite ones of those below, but that's another great natural remedy. All right, so those are some sort of immediate solutions that you can use as you're coming off of the medication to provide some comfort and relief. All right, y'all, let's dive into the 6 ways that you can start to fix and heal your acid reflux very simply, right at home, without medication. Okay, you guessed it. We are in the kitchen. Number 1 is to eat a diet that is not inflammatory. Y'all, this is where it's gonna really help to go to a functional medicine doctor, a functional dietitian, someone who can really look at your diet and help you figure out what is causing inflammation in your body. This is a place you have to start. Again, if you wanna get off of these meds that are known to increase risk for osteoporosis, Alzheimer's, dementia, pneumonia, y'all, if that is a big enough priority, then we have to be willing to change our diet. I know it's hard. I totally get it. But for my husband, I'm going to totally hold him accountable because I don't want him on these medications forever. So what do inflammatory foods look like? Well, refined sugars, refined grains, milk, things that cause inflammation in the body, okay? So we've really got to start to pull those things out. Processed foods, peace. Try to eat a whole food diet as much as possible, especially when you're trying to heal your esophagus and get your acid production back where it should be. Number 2, do you guys remember that when we talked about we really want to decrease that intra-abdominal pressure, the pressure in the abdomen, so that we're not forcing liquid and acid back up into the esophagus and we're taking the pressure off that LES, that sphincter at the bottom, so it can close? Well, how do we decrease that? Lose weight. For a lot of us, that means losing weight. If we're carrying a lot in our midsections, whether male or female, that we know that increases pressure and is forcing things up. So losing that weight, which number 1, of course, is going to help with, is going to be huge here. I know it's not easy, but can I just encourage you that if we know that we're carrying that extra weight here, it is definitely going to decrease the pressure. It's going to help the stomach out. It's going to help heal the esophagus by not spraying that acid back up all the time. Okay, next up, no eating or drinking. This is number 3. No eating or drinking at least 2 hours before bedtime. Here's why this is important. If you are eating and then laying down within 2 hours afterwards, think about you're upright, gravity's helping that sphincter to close, it's helping the food to come through as it should. But if we lay down and that food is not fully digested, now we don't have the aid of gravity anymore, right? So now we're gonna much more easily get that splashing back up into the esophagus. We're gonna start to irritate the lining of the esophagus again, right? And then that's where we get the heartburn and the acid reflux. All right, number 4, this is one of my absolute favorites. This is raising the head of your bed just by a couple of inches. Okay, we're not talking pillows. We're not talking like a sleep number or one of those ones where it just elevates, within the mattress. We're talking about the whole bed. First, talk about why we want it to be pillows or one of those adjustable beds. Well, what happens is as we sit up or raise up like this, we're increasing the pressure in our abdomen. Does that make sense? Whereas if we take the whole bed and we angle it up, now we're aiding and we're helping gravity to work. So you can just take a couple of wooden blocks, maybe a brick, something, equal on both sides that you're not even going to notice. You're not even going to notice when you get into bed when it's this much, the head of the bed, and you're going to aid digestion to keep everything from going back up. I love this solution. It's so simple. It's so cheap. It's so easy to do. You don't even have to think about it. You put them there once and then you're done. Okay, number 5. This one may be easy for people. It may be difficult. I'm not sure. But the biggest part of number 5 is no smoking. Y'all, smoking we know causes inflammation. Same with alcohol and caffeine. If you are really committed to healing this so you can get off of these medications, no caffeine, alcohol, or smoking. And again, this is short term. I mean, the smoking needs to go forever. The caffeine and the alcohol, let's cut it out so we can let the esophagus heal, and then you can introduce it in small quantities. What happens is we know that these 3 things cause inflammation. So again, we can't heal if we're always inflamed. The other thing is they're known to keep that sphincter open, especially nicotine. You guys, if you're smoking, that sphincter can't close appropriately. No wonder we have reflux. All right, y'all ready for number 6? Okay, number 6 is a good quality probiotic. Y'all, if you've been on these medications, the pH in your stomach and also your esophagus is not how it should be, which also means the bacteria that is there and throughout the gut is not as it should be. So we have got to, as we heal, replace those healthy bacteria. Now, do me a favor. Don't just go run to the grocery store and go buy whatever probiotic they have, okay? You can comment below. I can help you find one that's good for you. I have a vendor that I love. I'll link them below as well. That's reputable, and I know you're getting actual good probiotics, but you want to be really careful in the ones that you buy here. But they are super important when we're going on a healing journey in our gut, and especially with acid reflux and GERD. All right, so those are the 6 ways that you can start to heal from acid reflux simply, well, not always simply, but very cheaply, cost affordable, and you can absolutely do it. Y'all, I hope you see the importance of getting off of these PPIs. They are not, again, meant to be taken long-term. If you have a physician that is prescribing them long-term, I would recommend that you speak with them. Again, this is not medical advice. I want you to consult a physician, especially if you have a functional medicine doctor. Let's get to the root cause, but these are things you can start to do to help your body heal and get off of those nasty medications. All right, if you've enjoyed this video, if you love learning alongside me, Mel, the Fun Pharmacist, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. There's a little bell next to it that will remind you every time I put out a new video. That's just once a week. So go ahead and hit that as well. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below. And remember that apple cider vinegar tonic I talked about earlier that's really good for your gut health as well as healing and providing you comfort as you go on your healing journey from acid reflux. I'm gonna go ahead and put this here so you can go ahead and watch that right now. Thanks, y'all.